Hey everyone, I'm Lachie Gill and I'm here chatting with Milky. I've always played music probably from the age of 10. My grandpa was a Celtic folk musician. So every time I go to his house, he'd have a big music room and I'd play all his instruments. And so it started there, and it wasn't until I was probably 18 I started getting out there and playing at pubs and weddings and anywhere I could play music. And then I decided to go on The Voice. Thinking it would be a cool experience. I didn't expect to get very far on the show. I just wanted to experience it and hope that anyone that saw me on the show would follow my music. Turned out to be better than I expected and won the show. And now I've just been writing and recording songs for the last year and a half leading up to this EP, Write It Out. So this EP was written across a year and a half, all started after the show. So obviously going through that massive experience of winning a national television comes with a lot of experiences and things to write about. And there's things that explore those concepts. But I also went through my first real heartbreak, I guess. Been in relationships when I was 16, but those ones are not too impactful. But this one was kind of my biggest relationship I've had, and I guess there is some heartbreak songs on there from that, and kind of trying to navigate through that while also starting out this music journey and kind of getting thrown into the deep end with it, which has been some of the best moments and some of the toughest moments as well. And that's all packed up in this 6-song EP. Yeah, I think that was probably the best thing that Rita did for me on the show, because even though I was singing other people's songs, she always wanted me to make them my own songs. And so I guess I put my own spin on even the cover songs. So it put me in a good place for once the show finished to still be able to do the things I was doing on the show, but this time it was with the songs that I had written. And just, I know my sort of vibe on the show was a sad songs, lots of ballads, but that's the music that I love, outside of the show. So it was actually super easy for me to transition from the show to doing my own music because it was very similar. But, this was my chance to show people my songwriting and get even deeper with the people that started to know me on the show. I think there's definitely similarities in the songs that I write. I worked with a whole bunch of different writers and producers for the EP, so I guess there's going to be differences in that, having different input and other people's writing styles be put into my songs. But at the essence of it, I loved getting into the studio. We would, find this environment and make it super comfortable. They're the producers and writers that I love, ones that I can just sit down with and be super open with. And I found with everyone I worked on in this EP, I was able to just be myself. And although I didn't know these people for very long, we got on so well that I was able to just share my story, super honest. And I think that's come out in some of the songs on the EP. Oh, that is a great question, because I love all the songs, otherwise they wouldn't be on it. There's definitely some songs that didn't make the cut for that reason, but I think Holding On, which was one of the last songs that we produced for the EP, that is definitely the most emotional and raw I've gone with my vocals, and probably the toughest song to sing as well. I've had a shot at trying to sing it live and it's very tough, so I haven't made it easy for myself, but I think lyrically and emotionally, that song is me, and it was one of those songs that was so easy to write because it was just telling the story of this relationship I went through. So I'd definitely say listen to Holding On. I would say the title track, Write It Out, that's a funny one for me, because I've always been journaling. So I've journaled for the last 8 to 10 years. When I started getting into songwriting, I just thought journaling was a good thing to do, when I woke up in the morning, to get all these thoughts out. And I actually used to write It Out as the title for all these journals. So I put Write It Out, and then I would just write a couple of pages of whatever it was I was thinking about. A year ago, I thought it'd be cool to write a song about that concept, and it ended up having write it out as the chorus. And so now that kind of line is always stuck in my head because it's made the EP what it is and just tied it all together, I guess, because that's a big part of my life of journaling all my ideas. Sometimes it turns into songs, sometimes it's just gibberish that I'll never look at again, and I'd probably be embarrassed reading some of the stuff I write in there. But I'm glad that song made it onto the EP, and now it's the title, so that one's special. It throws you straight into this crazy world on the show that I had hardly any experience with beforehand, and I'd love to go back and watch some of the early tapes of The Voice and just see how I've changed since then. But getting all these massive cameras thrown on you and they're asking you these questions, it is very daunting. But after the short period of the filming of the show, by the end of it, it was almost just coming natural. Like they'd pull out a camera and you'd just be on and know exactly what to do. So I think that set me up for, once it finished, getting thrown into, radio and TV and all this promo stuff. It was like, I've done this on the show, so now I can put it, into the real life. So that was super helpful. And I think it just sped everything up for me. Something that maybe it takes other artists a while, getting thrown into the show the way I did, it just sort of sped up that whole process. So I was ready to go. Yeah, so this is going to be super different to how people have seen me. I'm usually up there standing solo with my guitar, and I still love doing that, and there'll still be some of those songs in the show. But this, some of my more up-tempo songs, I've really wanted to do those the way that they were produced and the way that you hear them. So you can expect a bit more up-tempo, a bit more energy from me on the stage, and a lot more fun than, just standing there listening to an acoustic guitar and a voice. So I'm super excited for it. When I look at my favourite artists, I've seen them all live in concert, and I think it wasn't until I saw them live at a show that I didn't fully appreciate them as an artist. I think once you stand there and you see them in real life and they're doing exactly what what you hear them doing behind the songs, you can fully understand it and appreciate it. So I wanted to make that a very important thing that I do to my fans, and not be one of those people that you can only listen to them online. You can go see them and experience it in real life, because it's so different. It's so different seeing someone live, and I'm making sure that I put a live show together that people can come and be like, yeah, all right, this guy's the real deal, and not just, someone that's been on a TV show. Lewis Capaldi, Dermot Kennedy, Ed Sheeran, and Alec Benjamin. Ed Sheeran, let's go to the top. Dermot Kennedy, Without Fear. Maybe The Lion King, even though that was already a very good soundtrack, but maybe that would be cool. It depends how early or late in the set. If it's super early, I'm just focusing on not stuffing it up and controlling the nerves. And as it gets on, I just want to get the crowd involved and, make sure it's interactive and I'm not just a robot singing up there. They can get involved, yeah. Miley Cyrus, for sure. Oh, Bruno Mars, Count on Me. I learnt that on ukulele. And don't try and find the video on Facebook. Probably the earliest one I can think of is Justin Bieber. And that was unreal. I actually wanted him to pick me as the lonely girl, but I thought that was going to be a stretch. probably Jacob Collier. Not a lot of people. I mean, he's pretty famous, but he's one of those niche artists. But he was turning the audience into a choir, and it was ridiculous. Spice Girl. I was going to say Sporty because I'm sporty, but there's already a Sporty that's taken. Oh, God. Sexy Spice. I want to hear Lewis Capaldi's voice on one of my songs. I'm from Melbourne, so I've been to the Forum quite a lot, and that's one of my favourite venues. So if I could play at the Forum, that would be unreal. And not too much of a pipe dream either. Hopefully not too far off. It's a sad one, but hallelujah. You know, get people in the fields before they get back up and about. I mean, we're in the Swiftie era, so maybe Taylor Swift. I do enjoy her music. I'm not a crazy fan, but she's pretty cool. Hold strong, keep grinding, it'll happen. Oh, it's a tough one to sum up, but I think I'd be completely lost without music. Not even just being able to write and sing, just listening to it. I think I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Maybe my audition song, If the World Was Ending. That would be sing that one last time. Oh, you'd probably trace that back to watching my grandpa perform. He was kind of the first experiences I had with watching someone perform live. So yeah, seeing him was a good experience to just go, that's something that would be cool to be able to do.